Hello everyone, my name is Vincent Lowry and welcome to a very last episode of Generation Gap. For this semester, the topic today will be a recap of on-campus, off-campus experiences, as well as in the Indiana community of this semester. We will be right back with Generation Gap. Hello and welcome back to Generation Gap. Let's start this conversation off, but first things first, let's introduce my wonderful panel. I'll start with my right.
Hi guys, I'm Allison Schumacher. I am a communications major with a minor in journalism, and I'm about to graduate in a couple weeks. It's exciting.
Hi everyone, my name is Brandon Reger. I'm a sociology major here. I'm a junior, and I'm actually about to head abroad. I'm studying abroad next semester.
Awesome. So we have a soon-to-be graduate alumni, and then we have a study abroad student leaving IUP to Spain. That's actually insane. So I want to start this off with just saying, how has this semester differed from your past semester? Let's say this has been a more fun semester for you, enjoyable, stressful, heavy workload. How is this semester compared to your other semesters?
You want me to start?
Sure.
Okay. Well, I think a lot of it is just I've been taking it kind of slowly as I go, and like with production courses, especially for communications. And this semester I've been taking like 4 of them. So it's just like a little bit of a heavier workload, and I think that I have senioritis really bad, so it's making it more difficult to actually get that work done. But since we're coming into the last 2 weeks, like I'm just trying to push through and graduate.
Okay.
I think I'd have to agree. This semester definitely has been a little bit more stressful for me, like class-wise. Plus, I got a lot more involved on campus, so I mean, it's been a lot of fun, but it's definitely been really stressful getting through everything. But like everyone keeps saying, are you excited? Are you ready to go abroad? And I'm like, I feel like I need to get through this week, let alone think about being abroad. Like, so I'm excited, but yeah, it has been like crazy semester.
Mm-hmm. You guys talked about crazy, stressful. What events on campus have benefited you on the way of a positive experience or a negative experience from this semester?
Well, since I'm graduating, I feel like a lot of the job fairs are like really helpful for that. I mean, I did an internship last summer, but just being able to go and network and talk to people, like it really is the most important thing. Plus, I'm like kind of freaking out about what I'm gonna do, so that's made me feel a little bit better at least.
I guess for me, I have to say, like I'm the type of person, I like to watch TED Talks. I like to listen to that type of stuff. So I really do enjoy going to the 6 o'clock series when I have time. Those sometimes really interesting topics. So I think those in combination with some other stuff, other programs the university puts on, it's interesting. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. So we're talking about events on campus. Now I want to talk about what experiences have affected you positively or negatively. Experiences on campus here at IUP, whether it be a last-minute exam that you studied for, or it could even be a traumatic experience.
Traumatic experience.
Don't mean to take it that extreme.
Actually, I am a producer. Should I say that?
You can say whatever you'd like.
Can I say that I'm like a producer?
Of course you can.
Okay. So I am a producer of Gen Gap. I've been on Gen Gap for a few years now, and just this whole experience has really helped me with a lot of things. It's something great to put on a resume. I've gone through all the positions at Gen Gap, and just being able to do that has really helped me like really dive into the communications field and figure out like what I want out of it.
Rephrase the question real quick.
So what are some experiences
that
have affected you positively or negatively, Brandon?
I think the strike was definitely a stressful one. I think it really was, there was a lot of uncertainty. I'm a part of, well, of course with you, we're a part of the student government together. So that there was a lot of uncertainty hanging over our heads, and it was, is it gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen? So I guess that was, added some additional stress on. But it was kind of, I don't wanna say it was fun, because obviously we wish it wasn't happening. But it was interesting to see that. It was history in the making. So that definitely added a different experience that probably most other students won't have in their, history of higher education.
Obviously, the strike had a huge impact on this whole semester, especially when we're recapping the whole entire semester. I mean, that pretty much started a whole chain of events, whether it be having class on Saturdays, extra work for you, for professors. How has the strike affected you guys? did it really change anything coming through the rest of the semester, anything like that?
I mean, I think it was just like at the time, like just being a college student, of course you're like, woo, like week off, like this is awesome. And then you forget that like you have to make up all that time. So I had some teachers that were like really cool about it and like we're kind of like, it's a week, like you missed one day of class, it's not that big of a deal. But I had other ones that we were doing like extra assignments to kind of make up for that, which is understandable, but also really sucks when you still have a workload for the whole semester.
Yeah, I actually, some of my courses I had to do makeup classes. And which it was kind of nice in a way because I got extra credit for going to those makeup classes, but it was stressful because I'm like in class at 8 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock at night. Typically I reserve those times for organizations or homework or different things like that. So that was, that was weird. I'm not used to being in class that late. But some of my professors did, just have one-on-ones with me or different things so that I didn't have to actually go to a course and make something up. But it's just a strange thing, no one else, I guess, that's here right now has ever had to go through that. So
it's definitely something to tell the grandkids about going off to college. I mean, be sure to watch out for your faculty strike or with the state system. So what changes have you seen this semester that IEP has done for students?
Changes. I think definitely, so just from being in the student government, I know that, we're working on a strategic plan within the university and, a lot of different things the university is doing to try to enhance the students' experience. So I think a lot of that has been coming to light. I see more student programming on campus. The CAs in the residence halls, they're working a lot with students. I know that we, personally, like I work with the CUSP program, which is the early entrance program for incoming freshmen, and we do a lot more for students now, to enhance their experience. So I think a lot of that has been really beneficial to students.
Kind of like bouncing off what he said and like the strike question, I think that just the whole strike thing happening, I feel like student government was a lot more like prominent than I had personally ever seen it before because that's not something that I was ever really involved in. But the fact that they had all these like open forums and things that you could go to if you had questions and stuff, like that was super helpful. And the whole thing of students like supporting the teachers, I think that was like cool to see too, that like we care about them too because this is our education and we're paying for it.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. That was really interesting to see because when you see strike and the media, gets a hold of things, sometimes it can be a little bit skewed of what's actually happening on campus. But I think it was a really positive light. Of course, there was some negativity involved, but I think there was a really positive light because students really did react well. It could have been detrimental to the student body, but I think it did go really well, and the student government did play a vital role in that. Informing students, different things like that, and students, handing out, cupcakes to teachers or different things like that, and teachers, standing in the rain with everything. So I think it was really, it was cool to see.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, Brandon, Allison, thank you for starting off this conversation, but we will be right back after these commercials with more Generation Gap.
Here at the Big Hit, we're a pretty supportive group of people. It can be slightly nerve-wracking going on air at times, so occasionally we like to give our analysts a little extra boost of confidence.
everyone. Welcome to another episode of Witticism. I'm Mary.
And I'm Tyler, bringing you the news that matters most around the globe.
Hey guys, welcome to Advice with the one and only me.
Knowing what he did to Shakira for all those years.
Kesha.
Kesha! I was wondering, I'm like, who's Shakira?
I was so confused, I was like, what's Well, you should probably rethink your standards and accept the fact that society and boys won't love you unless you're hot.
Agree with that, Sarah.
Yeah, she definitely got that necklace from the 5 for 10 at Claire's.
Blot. Just blot. You really need to smear it on there, you know? Just. Can you pout for me? See you next week.
I guess when you're 30 years old and your dream is to play basketball with a bunch of high schoolers, ball really is life.
Next thing you know, she'll be Chef Curry with the pot and whipping it up for all the grandkids. I'm really sorry about that.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Generation Gap. We're gonna dive right back into this discussion with social media. So obviously social media, a huge thing for college students, whether you are a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, super senior, no matter what. It's a huge role in any student's life. So a big thing that I've seen on social media, a lot of students have said on social media is this semester has been the worst yet. This semester has just been terrible. I want the semester to be over. I want to go on Christmas break. I want to go on fall break, so on and so on. What is your opinion on those statements?
I mean, I think a lot, like, it's kind of weird for me because I'm a senior and this is my last semester, so of course it's like, it's such like a bittersweet thing that like it's going by really fast and I'm like excited because I'm about to like start a new chapter of my life, but it's also been like really stressful with like the schoolwork. And I think the strike, like, it doesn't matter what it is. We could have had off like 2 days for like a random snowstorm or something. That makes the semester automatically feel so much longer. I'm sure that that's like playing a role in it too.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because like when you look at when I look at my social media and I see I see people saying that, but Vinny and I were juniors, so this is our 3rd year. Typically, as you get harder to progress, things get more difficult. So maybe that's part of it. Your freshman year, if you think back, you're laying in bed watching Netflix. You have a couple classes a day. You're not involved in anything. But now, as we get more involved and we have harder courses, upper level, I think that can maybe play a role into it. And you have students who are getting more, taking internships, having work-study jobs, different things. So I think all that adding up can just be a little bit stressful for students, and maybe that's why, this is the worst semester yet, but it's also the hardest yet. So
I think it's also kind of how your friends are also growing up with you. So as you've said, harder classes, more things to join, more internships, graduating. I mean, obviously a lot more stress, just piling up, going over and over again. I mean, it's just about the friend group that you're in and things that you see on social media.
Right.
So this semester, a lot of things have happened. I mean, the strike, presidential election. I mean, not a lot of people in college has ever voted before. This is the very first election that we've ever had. A big thing that we see in media is social roles or just people that you base yourself off of. So what do you want, or what do you think that students take from this semester? What do students take from this semester?
out of social media?
Media, social media, anything.
So I don't know. I guess there's a lot of impressions to be made there. Especially with the recent election, like you said, there's a lot of differences in this country. People say the country's divided, and I don't think they're wrong in saying that. So I think for our generation, it's interesting to see. People have their opinions about the millennials, but I think it's really interesting to see how we're transitioning through, living at home, living on your own in college, and then becoming independent, graduating like you are. So I think taking away from it would be independence, seeing, what politicians do, different things like that, but realizing independence is truly important. And that's kind of what we're here for, learning in the classroom, learning outside the classroom, and gaining that independence that you'll need to, succeed outside of college.
Yeah.
I think I totally agree with what you're saying, but I also think that kind of coming together as a group, I feel like especially with this election, and there's so much of people being divided that, and the strike too, so many people divided that it shows what you can do as a group when you come together, despite your differences, despite what you think, I think that that's a big thing that you take out of college because you're doing group projects or working for student organizations that a lot of that is just learning how to work with other people, and they're doing that because that's what the real world is. So, yeah.
So this whole episode is all about recapping the semester.
Yeah.
We keep talking about what has happened this semester, things we've experienced, all about the past, possibly the present as well. Finals week is coming up. We talked about how hard this semester could be. It could be even harder next week. Don't mean to be negative, but there's a very good possibility that could happen. So what I want to talk about with you guys now is the future. what are you guys looking for next semester? I mean, obviously, Allison, you are graduating, so what do you want to look for in your guys' future?
I think it's an interesting question because you're asking that question to someone who's graduating and someone who's going abroad.
Yeah,
So for me personally, I am looking forward to going abroad. I think it's going to be a very unique experience that not everyone is fortunate enough to have, whether it's depending on their major or something else. I was fortunate enough to have a major that has enough free electives where I can go abroad. And so that experience did come up for me. So I'm really excited to get out, experience new cultures, bring that the culturalism and the different things that I learned back to IUP and see how that changes me as a person and a leader. So.
Yeah, for me, I mean, as a comm student, a lot of your finals are pretty much like the week before. A lot of it's like projects and doing video stuff. So like, I'm just ready for finals week because finals week for me is like a breeze.
It's gonna be a breeze.
Yeah, no, it really is. I'm not kidding. So basically that, and then, I mean, come on, guys. I want to get a job after this. Like, I'm just going to apply to a bunch of places, see what I can get, and I'm excited to start making my own money and hopefully get out of my parents' house. Love you, Mom and Dad. But I do want to be independent and on my own. So, yeah, I'm excited for that.
So if you're hiring, here.
Please.
And that will be on the Indiana Community Channel. So, I mean, certainly if there's any employers that could see that. So you guys will certainly not be here next semester. You guys will be away. So Allison, let's say you come back in a few years, 10 years or so, you could have a family, so on and so on, you could have a job, come back as a distinguished alumni. Brandon, you'll be back next fall. What is something that you guys would like to see the student body to move towards here at IUP?
Me personally, I think I would love to see the student body move towards more advocacy for different groups. When we see like the LGBTQIA community and how they're sometimes underrepresented on college campuses, and being very frank about your weaknesses, I think that is a true thing about IUP's campus. And seeing the students gather around something like that would be really special to me. Coming back as an alumni or even in the fall as a senior, I think that would be a really cool thing to see. Students gathering around each other, supporting each other, and just kind of growing and learning.
I mean, you said it really well. I don't know what else I would add other than just I don't know, coming together and like working towards like a common goal, I guess, that like this campus should be somewhere that people can come and like feel comfortable and not have, and feel like they can express their opinions like with no judgments. Like that's what college is supposed to be about.
Right.
So hopefully we could just continue that.
Of course. So one of the last things I want to talk about is we talked about a little bit of social media in the first half of the discussion. And we've been talking about how things have been changing on campus, off campus. Is there a way social media has played a role bigger this semester than ever before that you've ever seen in your college careers?
I don't know. That's a hard question. I guess I talked a little bit about student advocacy. If you look on for IUP, our school, we have each school has each graduation class has a Facebook group. So IUP class of 2018, 2017, 2016, they all have groups, and you see students connect in there and they talk to each other in there. And I think a lot of that student advocacy occurs in that social media. So people talk, handing out flyers on campus, is that beneficial? Really, we're in the digital age now where people are in front of their phones 24/7. You may forget your car keys, but you're not going to forget your phone. And so I think that is where a lot of those difficult conversations are being had, especially because it's easier to have those conversations behind a screen. Everyone says, I'd like to get up there and make a difference, but it's a lot easier to do that, and it makes you a lot less vulnerable when you're behind a screen. So I think a lot of those conversations are being had, and that it's definitely a big change I've seen this semester.
It was mostly just how like social media has changed.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. I just wanted to double check. I think I agree with what you're saying. I think that this year has been a year of like changes and stuff like that. That there's so many more things to make memes about for us to talk about. Like obviously, every presidential election, like that is when social media is just booming because there's going to be different thoughts and different sides. Especially that it was like Trump and Clinton. Like of course, those are two controversial people to talk about. When it comes to like me personally or like IUP's social media, I wouldn't say that like, I don't know. I think that like it helps a lot just being a millennial with like meeting in groups and stuff like that. Like as a comm student, I'm involved in so many different projects with different group members that just being able to have apps like GroupMe or something like that. Like I asked my parents, I'm like, how did you meet with people? Like in college, like what do you do? Go to a payphone? Like I truly don't understand. So
how do you fall in love without Tinder? That's
right. I don't know. So I think that that's made like a really big difference just throughout my whole college career is being able to like have a phone to contact people and people will be able to like actually respond well sometimes.
So thank you guys for the second half of this discussion. Guys, we're about to move into the very last half of this very last episode of the semester. We'll be right back with some more Generation Gap for you.
Welcome to the Press Start Discussion Lounge. Our topic of the day is going to be the first intense gaming experience or the several experiences that hooked you into becoming a gamer.
Oh my God! Where is she? Where is she? I can't find her. Can't find her. Can't find her. Oh my God! What is that?
Hey there everyone, we've got news on new teasers for Resident Evil 7 Biohazard, 16 pre-order DLCs for Final Fantasy 15, and PlayStation Store celebrates 10 years with a sale. My name is County and this is your Press Start News Roundup.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Generation Gap, the very last segment of this last episode for this semester. So we've talked about the semester recap, events that have happened, multiple experiences that you guys have had also from other students. I just want to ask you guys one last question. President Driscoll recently had an inclusion vigil, basically telling everyone that we are a huge family, that this is the Crimson Hawks family, no matter who you are, race, sexual orientation, gender, sex, doesn't matter. We are all an IUP family, and that is the IUP way. What is the IUP way to you guys?
I mean, I think that that is the IUP way. I mean, I think that that is something that we should strive towards. I don't think that that's accurate 100% of the time here. I think that people differ, and that's bound to happen. But I think that that's something that I want to strive towards. I want to be on a campus that's like that, where everybody feels accepted and nobody has to feel like judged or anything like that. I mean, but in a perfect world, that doesn't always happen. But I do think it's something that we should strive for.
And I'd have to agree wholeheartedly because I think it would be very naive to say that IUP is perfect. Every college campus is perfect. Now, just because we're millennials doesn't mean that everyone loves each other, and it's something that really do have to work for, be mindful of at all times. I have to agree with President Driscoll. The IUP way that he's formatting is truly what we should strive for. But every person has to work to get that.
And I think there's a lot of things on campus that have happened in the past, years in the past, and I think this whole community as itself has a very rough past in that aspect of the IUP way.
Right, everyone can learn and grow from every experience.
But I just want to say thank you guys. We're going to wrap this last episode of the semester up. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Allison. And everyone watching right now, be sure to check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and also Snapchat. We'll stay tuned because we'll be right back with our senior send-off with Allison Schumacher. Hello everyone, welcome back to Generation Gap. Once again, I'm Vincent Lowry. I'm with our senior Allison Schumacher, fellow producer as well.
Hey guys.
Allison, I just have a few questions about being an alumni, graduating. I mean, it's a huge step in life.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that we don't know that I'm sure a lot of students want to know out there about what is the next step for you. So the first question I want to ask for you is, how has Generation Gap benefited you?
Generation Gap has benefited me a lot. That like when I came in here as a sophomore, I transferred to IUP, came in here as a sophomore, was looking for an organization to get involved in. And at the time, I really wanted to be like a television personality. Like I really wanted to do like field reports and stuff like that. And being a part of Gen Gap, when I first started, that's what I was doing. I was doing the field reports for them and working on camera and stuff. So doing that helped me realize that like, okay, this maybe isn't like the right path for me. So I kept working, kept doing stuff for them, and they offered me a producer position, and as soon as I got promoted to that, I was like, wow, like I really like this. I feel like I'm learning a lot, and for my resume, it's awesome to show that you've done like things like camera or field reporter or producer, because it shows that you have like leadership skills and stuff. Like that's half the reason I got my internship over the past summer, because like of my experience in this, and it's something good to put on my resume when I'm applying for jobs, so hopefully they'll hire me.
So yeah, hires once again. Be sure to check it out.
Yeah.
You talked about your internship. Where was your internship? What did you experience? How positive, negative experience? Just everything, the whole 9 yards.
I had an awesome experience. I think a lot of comm students, I think I did it a little bit backwards, that a lot of communications, you have to get an internship before you graduate. So a lot of people will graduate, and it has to be in the summer also. So a lot of people do that after they graduate in the spring and do that internship and then kind of go off into the working world. But I decided to do it after my junior year, and I found a really cool program called the Washington Center, where you live in DC for 3 months, they set you up with roommates, and they set you up with an internship. And I'm originally from Maryland, so that was like an hour away from home. So it was awesome. I lived with like 3 really cool girls and got to learn a lot about my internship, and kind of had made some cool connections along the way that hopefully will play out for me in the future.
And after your internship, did you feel did you feel less stressed? Did you feel less scared to graduate, or maybe you didn't even feel stressed or nervous to graduate?
I think it's just good to have that experience. I think communications is a field that, like, at least how I look at it, it's a lot of like experience over education. That like I'm excited to get the education part out of the way so I can like continue to build on that experience. But it feels good to be like, okay, I did an internship, I did something outside of college, because I love Gen Gap and it's taught me so much, but like when it comes to like the real communications world, it's not a lot, you know?
Yeah, so you kind of just have to build upon your experience is what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
So last question is really, how has IUP benefited you? How has IUP formed you to the person that you are? Has IUP prepared you to graduate, and are you glad that you picked IUP?
Yes, I am. I mean, pretty much yes to all of those. Starting off, I'm glad that I picked IUP. I'm glad that I was going to a different university my freshman year and decided to come here because I heard that they had a really good communications program, and that's what I wanted to do. And I'm glad I did it. I mean, I think that like Generation Gap, that's something that I would have never found unless I came here. And the Washington Center was an awesome program that I found through this experience. So yeah, I'm definitely happy that I chose IUP. I do think that they've also really prepared me. I think that they make you take a lot of classes that are about like how to apply for a job, what your resume should look like. And I mean, the communications courses are a lot of hands-on stuff, which is a big deal because that's what you're doing in the real world. So yeah, I feel good about it.
So thank you, Allison, once again for all your hard work, your experiences, and pretty much mentoring a whole lot of people, including me, here on Generation Gap. Thanks. And just thank you for building a huge family here at Generation Gap.
Awesome.
So guys, with that being said,
Gen Gap out.
Gen Gap out. All you Gen Gappers.
Sorry about that.